Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays a Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. 10 wins in a row, we're back on the horse. It just feels nice to have a double-digit win streak. Oh, look at this. A little trinket smelter action right off the get-go. C-Vag. Wish I hadn't said that. EQKS. Dude, the stats are absolutely absurdly good, though. He's done it. 7 rate of fire, 4.36 damage. So here's the deal, you know. Yes, if you do this, you can make it into wait what. But here's a little, let me spill that tea for you, as people say. Wait what is not really that good. Trinket Smelter, a little bit more interesting, I think. And probably, like, more useful as well, but also definitely more interesting. Now, if you want to get, are we really doing this? Are we gonna be super technical? Hey, take wait what, use it to get the key, use it to open that golden chest, you never know what you could get. You know what? That's exactly what we're gonna do, because you're precisely correct. In this current situation, there's no real reason not to do this. You might be asking, NL, how did the Jeopardy online test go yesterday? They don't give you a score afterwards, but apparently, you know what, let's do it. Apparently, the answer key typically does get posted on, like, the Jeopardy subreddits, and, like, Jeopardy Facebook groups and stuff like that. But I haven't, as of yet, looked. Felt like it went okay. There's another one today. We'll see how it goes. But, you know, it's all part of the process. There were some tricky questions in there. If there was one that I'm most sad that I definitely got wrong, it's the clue was this Pulitzer Prize winning rapper, his real last name is Duckworth. And you would think that would be a lock for me to remember that that's Kendrick Lamar. But in reality, I blanked. You only get 15 seconds a question, you know? So I blanked and I just went Eminem. You know, it's an okay guess, except for the fact that it's incorrect, but... Dude, I'm really happy we took wait what here. It actually, it's turned out to be a pretty solid investment. But apart from that, yeah, I feel like it went well. I just want to, I mean, I'm tempering your expectations as well as mine. Don't expect this arc to necessarily end with me getting on Jeopardy. Moreover, even if I get on Jeopardy, don't expect me to do that well. People that get on that show are extremely smart. There's a chance good things could happen, I suppose. But I've read some story, you know, some people on the Jeopardy subreddit are like, I did well on the online test, and then, like, 8 months later, I was on the show. And some people are like, I did well on the online test, and, like, 5 years later, I still haven't been on the show. So, you know, just temper your expectations, is what I'm trying to tell you. But the arc is slowly progressing. I did go through the necessary steps to proceed, is what I'm trying to tell you. Anyway, it's cool, dude. Having a good Thursday so far. Thank you so much for asking. It's been an extraordinarily busy week. It's not so bad. It's been an extraordinarily busy week because, you know, I came back from being away for, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Josh's wedding. Wouldn't have traded it for the world, for the record, but also on top of that, you know, you gotta make, especially when you got 4 or 5 YouTube series kind of happening concurrently. You know, we're trying to get out Gungeon episodes in that previous Tetris spot, but they keep trying to draw me back in by having another Maximus Cup this weekend. It takes a bit, because first you got to get a few episodes ahead on Isaac, then you got to get a few episodes ahead on Spire, and then, you know, you might have to record a couple episodes of Isaac because your backlog on that is burned out, and then you get some Sekiro episodes out, and they hit you with a meme boss that takes you 10 times longer to kill than it probably should have. You get the general idea. It's just a process. But here's the thing. Once the machine gets started, it's hard to stop. It's hard to get it started, but it's hard to stop it as well. It's like a lawnmower, you know? You pull on it, it goes rum, 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 rum. You pull on it again, rum, 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 rum. You pull on it again, rum. You pull on it again, brum, 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 brum. And then you're like, okay, it's so hard to start. Then it, you know, runs over your leg when you're not paying attention, and you're like, it's so hard to stop. Isn't it ironic, don't you think? It's like rain on your wedding day. I think I've done this exact bit before, okay? But of all the things in ironic, the most entitled by far is thinking that it's an omen that it's raining on your wedding day. First off, are you getting married outside? Okay, if so, I can understand why that would be annoying. But, you know, depending on where you live, it might rain, you know, like a lot. In Vancouver, if you took it on an annual basis, I bet it rains, you know, 1.5 times a week. That gives you like a pretty solid chance that your wedding day is going to have some rain on it. You know, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news or anything like that. I'm just saying. Because I don't consider it bad news. I just consider, you know, you're an adult, pack an umbrella. Or don't, and then be like, I'm wet, it's okay, you know? Are you guys umbrella types or non-umbrella types? I oftentimes wear a baseball cap and jacket outside anyway. So I feel like I'm a non-umbrella type. I find... why not? I find an umbrella a little tedious. And I don't mean to be, like, hilariously robotic when I say that. But especially if you're one person and you have an umbrella, it's okay. There's very few things that you need to remember. You need to remember, you know, hey, don't hit people in the face with it. If you see another person with an umbrella coming at you, telegraph early whether you're going to go over or under. And then, you know, you're going to make that work. It's a nice little bit of jolly cooperation out there in this workaday world. And, you know, don't when you open it up, don't open it up in people's faces because you're going to splash them with the laden water that's on it anyway. Those are the most important things. But a two-person umbrella, for those of you out there in a couple, it can be a pain in the butt, you know, especially, I'm not particularly tall. And, you know, I'm like, I don't know, maybe 6 inches taller than my wife would be my guess. But when we're walking outside, you know, if I hold the umbrella, it's a little bit too high. So she gets a little, you know, splashback. Yo, that's a huge one. If she holds the umbrella, I can't see anything. I'm just inside of the dome of fabric. So I'm like trying to walk, but also like my head, the front of my face hits the umbrella at all times. So the best thing is you hold the umbrella, but you hold it at a height that is... I mean, most of the time we're walking with two of us holding the umbrella. I just hold the umbrella at her height and I get rained on. And I'm cool with that. She's always like, get under the umbrella. And I'm like, it's not necessary. You worry about yourself. Don't you worry about me. I can handle a little bit of moisture here. I mean, I'm not saying it's a scam. Like, there's been times where I've been extremely happy to have an umbrella. Particularly if you don't want your clothes to be rained on, you know, it's fair enough. But, you know, if you're dressed casually and, you know, you're not going to like a all-important business meeting or something like that, sure, rain on me, dude. Who cares? I'll take the hit on this one. Always sucks when you have a teleport card, so your plan is like, let's do this right. And then you can't do it right, unfortunately. Bob's Brain has been a great choice for us here, by the way. So yeah, it's Thursday. It's been a busy week. No complaining, but a busy week to be certain. Very much looking forward to my day off, where I can do nothing. Maybe watch the F1 race, one of the 3 or 4 this season that's actually on at a reasonable time from Pacific Northwest standards. Me, Mathis, and Dan got together today. We played a little bit of a game called Pacify. It'll be going up on the channel starting on Sunday. We're back. We had a few weeks off. Mathis was away, then Dan was away, then I was away, but we're back. You know, it's our honest intention to make that series work. And it's just nice, you know. Oh, I screwed that one up, something fierce. But to be able to a couple of times, I was gonna say a couple of times a month, but it should be every week. But you know, 4 or 5 videos a week, hang out with those guys, play some stuff that for whatever reason we can't find another opportunity to play. It's fun. I'm glad to be back. Also, like some of the few colleagues that still do YouTube in any capacity whatsoever, which is really nice. Actually, like Dan, he's been doing well on YouTube. That I watch his Tetris stuff, although he stopped making it for a bit here, which is fair because, I mean, it can be frustrating. But Mathis has been crushing it on YouTube too. I'm happy for him. I don't watch much YouTube content. I was actually thinking about this last night. I think I definitely watch less than 30 hours of YouTube content a month. Willingly, I watch almost no YouTube content. I might watch 15 minutes of Good Mythical Morning 3 times a week, right? But I actively try to, I wouldn't say avoid the platform necessarily, but like when it comes to like mindless, not to be rude, mindless entertainment, I'm more of a Twitch guy. I think I have a huge advantage on Twitch because I can come into one of my friends' chats and insult them in a nice, you know, positive fashion, and well, a good-hearted fashion, let's say. And then everyone goes, "Hello, egg," and then I go, "Haha, that's me. I'm the egg." You know what I mean? Whereas on YouTube, what am I gonna do? Leave a comment, come back 8 hours later? It's also a little too close to the bone, you know, YouTube is like my office, so I try not to, once I'm free from the office, I don't spend a whole lot of time there. Not to be, again, rude to YouTube. Why would you willingly take a range down pill and then walk into that? It's just embarrassing, dude. Yeah, I'm happy. Dude, it's always nice to hear of someone having some extra success on YouTube, because the narrative for a lot of people has definitely been like, you know, YouTube is dying. And I think, you know, they've definitely made some decisions that have been anti-creator. Some of those decisions, I think, are justifiable because, you know, if you... I'm not going to make any friends by saying this, but if you make a platform that is entirely 100% creator-focused, you have a real challenge when it comes to, like, specifically moderation. If you have a platform where it's like anything goes, then you know what goes? The advertisers, which are a, you know, a big chunk of your revenue in a situation like this. Not just for the creators, but also for the platform itself. Or let's rephrase that. Not just for the platform itself, but also for the creators. And some of those decisions I do think are extremely dumb. But I also don't work in the office, you know, so what do I know? Anyway, but I'm happy for Matt as he puts a lot of work into it. I don't think we should go too low on this one. I think we should just be cool. We got a 2/3 chance of a deal with the devil. Stats have not improved too much, but started so strong, we should be in a good spot. I'd really like to break the chain and get a deal with the devil on this floor, though. Which means we can't get hit until we get a spirit heart. Bit of a gamble, or let me put it this way, if you're betting on it, it would be a gamble. It's not a safe bet right now, but you never know. Feels like, you know, it's been a pretty good couple of weeks for my colleagues, you know? Mouth's killing it. People, I don't think anybody means this like, facetious, or I don't think anybody means this seriously, is what I guess I'm trying to say. But sometimes people ask me, like, you know, how do you feel about the fact that Mouth has, like, doubled his Twitch subscriber count over the course of, like, 4 days? I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but some people out there must consider me to be some kind of, like, terrible monster. How do you think I feel that my friend went full-time and then is crushing it on Twitch, dominating the platform on the morning PST hours? I've known this guy for my whole friggin' life. I'm thrilled for him. The idea that I would be like a green-eyed monster about it, dude, let's try it. We're only one guppy item away. Is nonsensical to me. I mean, you know, is there a part of me that's like, well, I wish I could double my subscriber count? Honestly, no. I mean, like, literally, that'd be pretty sick, dude. But, like, also, I'm like, you know, I'm just happy for... Oh, don't smelt it. Don't smelt it. I'm happy for my dude. You know, I'm at a place where I'm comfortable, and he's doing incredible stuff and getting incredible results, and I couldn't be happier, honestly. You know, I just... I don't think it's many people, but... You know, even though I play the adversarial role on the show sometime, me and Malf, we got a back channel with... you know, friends of ours that we've known for like a decade, and you know, we're always talking each other up in there, always giving each other advice. Same in the Discord, you know, anybody asks for advice, give it freely, and you know, you can take it or leave it, basically. So yeah, I honestly couldn't be happier. Moreover, he can serve as an entry point into the NLSS cinematic universe. You know, it's a people maybe have never heard of the stuff that we make together before. They watch Mouth. They're like, hey, this guy's pretty funny. Then they're like, he's going to be on this show with this bald nerd. And then you could be like, why won't this bald guy let Mouth talk? And then they'll subscribe out of anger. And all of a sudden, we got a lifelong new fan. 6 months later, they're posting Dan Cheesling memes on the NLSS Circle Jerk. And it's a friggin' dream come true. I was going to say couldn't be happier. That's wrong. I could be happier. You know how I could be happier? If he doubled his subscriber count again. It would be especially sick if he doubled his subscriber count, like, every week into perpetuity. Because, like, after a month, he'd be one of the largest streamers on the platform. And then after, like, 2 months, he would be, like, a billionaire. And after 3 months, I think that he would have more monthly income than there is, like, global purchasing power. Which would be, that would be awesome. Let me put it this way. He's picking up the check next time we go out. If that, and by picking up the check, I mean he's buying the restaurant. Not buying everything on the menu. He's buying the deed. Oh, okay, that's fine. This is an all-important floor for us. But yeah, your busy week, good week, you know? I can't really, I got no complaints on offer, dude. Well, I mean, except for the Canucks moving down to 10th in the draft lottery, but here's the thing. They were 9th, you know? They had a 5% chance to win. They moved down a pick. Yeah, they've moved down literally every single year that they've been in the lottery since they last made the playoffs in the year 2015. Ah, my deal with the devil, dude. Still good item, and a small rock here would change the world. Still pretty good. But it's just, you know, that's life. I think you gotta be... People get very upset about sports, and, you know, we can definitely at least smelt this one. People get very upset about sports, and I understand. But it's also very juvenile in most circumstances. Especially if you're going to be upset about the whims of the draft lottery balls. Who cares, you know? Life goes on. I root for the guys in the blue and green jerseys, and if you root for the guys in the orange jerseys, you can just frig off, bud. That's my 2 cents on the subject. You know what I've been playing? I know this has become like a common recurring point of conversation. Thank you! You've done me a great service here today. Let's do it, dude. Why not? But I've been talking a lot. Let's see the curse room, too. I've been talking a lot about how, like, 2019, and it's embarrassing, it's April, and I'm still saying 2018 on the regular. But 2019, in my opinion, has been, like, amazing for games so far. It just keeps going. Like, I don't even... to be fair, 2018 was probably the year in my life where I played the least amount of games. New games, at least. I still, hours-wise, played a ton of Isaac, played a ton of Slay the Spire, and et cetera, et cetera. But in 2019, I've experienced a much greater, you know, breadth of variety, and I feel lucky. Like, I feel like I picked a great time. Obviously, I've talked about Tetris 99. Talked a lot about Slay the Spire, of course, which I'm still playing. Re-energized by doing the challenges. Sekiro, every recording session with Sekiro, I pop into my Discord and I say, well, it's not my Discord, our Discord. And I say, like, dude, I just got to the part where Sekiro gets real. That's happened to me, like, 9 times. I've unironically become, you know, the real Dark Souls starts here sort of guy. And I love it. I think that game is great, even though the most recent boss I fought, I have a little bit of a design issue with, but it is subjective, I'll admit. And then, dude, I can't stress enough. As much as it's going to make me look like a shill, because I've been paid to play it twice, hook me up, dude. MLB 19 The Show is actually incredible. It's like one of the best RPGs I've ever played. Now, don't gatekeep me. It's not an RPG. Oh, why? Because it doesn't have a princess in a castle, and oh, the materia's broken. We need to get pure materia. It's an RPG, dude. You got stats. You're grinding ABs to get those stats up. You got boss battles. Los Angeles Dodgers starter Clayton Kershaw steps up with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. What are you supposed to do? You got to step to him, right? It's a great game. I've probably played 40 to 50 hours of that in the past month, and I think it's amazing. And beyond that, I played a whole bunch of Islanders earlier this week. Islanders is a very board game from a mechanics standpoint. City builder, minimalist city builder is another great way to describe it. Dude, Lusty Blood, so good. It's just a wonderful game, to be honest with you. Like, if you haven't picked up Islanders for yourself, it's like the easiest sell of the year. Even in contrast to some of the other games I mentioned. I mean, Tetris 99 is free, but it's not a competition. Islanders is $5, and as far as I'm concerned, it's like one of the most accessible and easiest to recommend purchases of 2019 so far. You should check it out if you haven't checked it out already. It's a good time. And faces that remind me, yeah. Trying to forget your game and leave it all behind me. You guys like that song? Look, I love More Than a Feeling. I love that. What's that other Boston song? Well, no, that's the one I was just talking about. It's I don't care about indecision. I don't care if I'm left behind. Ooh, wow. People living in... Oh, he's got it. It's called Peace of Mind. Now, those are tempting, I'll admit, but I'm reaching for the stars here, you know what I mean? Abaddon was a pretty good get there. But I'm with Austin on this one. Foreplay Long Time, which I, embarrassingly enough, was only introduced to thanks to Rock Band. One of those all-time classic rock anthems. As far as I'm concerned, every sports arena and, ramshackled bar down in Gastown, 2 a.m., stop playing Don't Stop Believin', okay? First off, heard it too many times. Start playing Foreplay Long Time. That's a song that goes places. It starts with a... I can never really get that drum beat to work in my head, but... And then it's got phases like the moon, dude. It's innately satisfying to the human brain. Find me an individual that doesn't like Foreplay Long Time. I guarantee you can find an individual who's like, I don't like it, I just wish they got to the singing faster. Here's the thing, that person's not worth your time. If they can't handle, a minute of instrumentals before the words come in, let them go, dude. Introduce them to a little guy. Maybe you've heard of him. His name's Beethoven. That's Beethoven. You got it. You got it. You didn't need that one explained. But in contrast, I do have to say, for every yin, there's a yang. The heaven, the earth, and the mediator in between. Games have been heaven this year, as far as I'm concerned, so far. Having a wonderful experience with them. Never lost my love of the medium, but rediscovering it in a new light this year. TV, I've been a little bit let down. Admittedly, I haven't really been investigating a lot of stuff. I watched a staggering amount of forensic files, and then I saw that Amazon Prime had Unsolved Mysteries, and then Amazon Prime did not have Unsolved Mysteries, so now I'm watching a lot of forensic files. But I'm ready for Game of Thrones to finish. I know it's not the most well-liked television program anymore, despite probably being one of the most popular. I mean, maybe being the most popular, at least in our demographic. I think the time is absolutely right. This is my 2 cents on Game of Thrones, okay? Keep in mind, I watched through... Please. I watched through the whole series within the past 2 years, right? The last season was the only one that I watched live. The rest I watched like 7 years after they started airing. But first several seasons are very good. Very, very good, I would even say. There's a reason that show became insanely popular. Like now, sometimes media properties, they hit a point of self-sustaining popularity. Game of Thrones, I remember living in Korea. I mean, we don't really care about this right there. I remember living in Korea, and a guy that I worked with... Finally! It's been so long, dude. A guy that I worked with was telling me about... he's like, yo, they're making an HBO series about my favorite book series. And I was like, what is it? The Bible? No, he's like, no, it's called Game of Thrones, and you know, the first one is, or A Song of Fire and Ice, blah blah blah. And I was, if you're there, I feel like there's a little bit of revisionist history about Game of Thrones, is what I'm trying to say. That it's like, well, it's just the safest TV show to watch. There was a period where it was like completely, relatively unknown as compared to its, you know, gargantuan popularity right now. Same with the Marvel movies, dude. Like, okay, yes, now they could come out with Crap Man, and I would tweet about not being able to buy tickets day one. I'd be mad. I'd be like, I want to see Crap Man. They've done it again. Crap Man, a delightful, if a little safe romp, fun for the whole family. A little bit of scary stuff, not for the kiddos. Anyway, but there was a time, you know, I mean, I saw Iron Man 1 in theaters, and I went, dude, Iron Man 1, it has no business being this good. This is like by far the best superhero movie I've ever seen. Well, I don't know. It came out before or after The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is kind of in a class of its own still, I think, to this day. Let me put it this way. The Dark Knight is definitely like, is probably my favorite standalone superhero movie. And don't even start with me, okay? Because I watched the Batman 1989 recently. I watched Batman Returns recently. Those movies are fine, and Tim Burton's Batman and Batman Returns were like my favorite movies when I was 8 or 9 years old. But, you know, I'm saying I got nothing but love for them. But they had, in the modern world, they don't look as good as they looked back then. Let me put it that way. However, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, Dark Knight Rises is there. Sorry, not Dark Knight Rises. Don't you dare put those ashes in my mouth. But The Dark Knight may be my favorite standalone superhero movie. But I enjoy the Marvel stuff, you know, on the same level. Even though the individual movies are worse, the unique element of it tying into a larger, you know, thing is very interesting. By the way, drop the left hand, dude. Keep Yara. But, you know, I saw Iron Man in theaters, and I was like, this is really good. And then I saw The Incredible Hulk, the Ed Norton one in theaters, and I went, wow, that was kind of not very good at all. Although the discourse back then was more like, well, it's not great, but at least it's better than the Ang Lee 2003 Hulk movie with Eric Bana and Jennifer Connelly and the weird Hulk dogs. And anyway, and then I skipped Thor. I skipped Thor 2. I skipped the first Captain America movie. I skipped the second Captain America movie. That was my first major mistake. That was where things started to pick up, I think. But, you know, what I was trying to get at, without making this a Marvel episode specifically, is that, you know, now it's like, well, you slap the Marvel logo on anything, people will go see it. Yeah, but there was a time where, like, the Marvel name in theaters held, I wouldn't say no clout, but almost no clout. Even when Iron Man came out, it was still, people were like, who the heck is Iron Man? He's not Superman or Batman. Now, yes, they've done an amazing job of building the media property in this sense, no matter how you feel about it. The fact that people will be compelled to watch superhero movies about superheroes they don't give a crap about. And then after the movie, they're going to the Wikipedia article like, who is Thanos, you know? It's a positive thing. I feel the same, well, depending on how you feel about it. I feel the same way about Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones spent, you know, 4 or 5 seasons minimum building up some really, really amazing watchable television. And now it's kind of had a markedly, it's a different show. It's much more of like a, kind of a cheesier, like, sword and sorcery sort of fantasy show instead of, like, the political intrigue and subterfuge that was happening a little bit earlier. But I'm still eager to see where it goes, and I think, let me put it this way. If Game of Thrones was like, we're going to run for another 5 seasons, this season would be a do-or-die moment for me. I would be like, if you don't make up, and if you love season 7 of Game of Thrones, dude, more power to you. I'm happy for you. There was a lot of spectacle, a lot of good action, set pieces, etc., etc. Nothing wrong with that, you know? It was just not maybe what I signed on to the show for, and that's okay. However, Helmstever, for me, if they were like, we're gonna do 12 seasons, I'd be like, all right, you need to win me back a little bit. Not to be rude, but you gotta win me back just a little. But because it's the last season, I'm like, you know what? You earned it. You earned the goodwill necessary. I'll see how it goes. And yeah, there's probably going to be some... And then the X character rides in on a dragon and blah, blah, and blah, blah. You know, I've prepared myself for the fact that that's likely to be a lot of this. Tyrion Lannister picks up a needle and, you know, you get the idea. And then the dire wolves come back and I'm ready. Because, I mean, that's... You got like 7 hours or 8 hours to wrap up this thing that you've been building for like 60 hours, and it doesn't even seem like it's coming close. I get that this is an episode that's pretty frustrating if you haven't seen Game of Thrones or watched Marvel movies, but remember the part where I was talking about how happy for my friends I am? Let's just coast on that goodwill for a while. But it's like when you watch somebody's speech and, you know, you're waiting, you're like, hey, they've only got 45 seconds left on the timer, and yet they haven't gotten to the part where they've said in conclusion yet. That's like the new season of Game of Thrones. So it is what my estimation is right now. Is like, you know, you're like, really? There's only 8 hours of show left, and you haven't even started to answer some of these questions that people have been asking for half a decade. So you just gotta see how they're gonna... The teachers, you know, had a timekeeper at the back of the room that's going 30-second warning, and then the, you know, showrunners are like, oh crap, in conclusion, you get the Iron Throne. Thanks. Any questions? No? Okay, I'm gonna sit down now. We'll see. I don't know, maybe it'll be the greatest season of television ever. Kind of feel like, you know, it's the right time for it to be wrapping up. And you know, when it comes to the spin-offs, you're gonna have to sell me again. You're gonna have to start from zero, honestly. Here's the thing. Breaking Bad sold me on a spin-off. I haven't watched Better Call Saul yet. The show ended at such a perfect time. They didn't milk it at all. Maintained a relatively consistent standard of quality throughout, with a couple of, I mean, a lot of peaks and a couple of dips. That's respectable, for sure. Without it, I mean, it's incredibly respectable. Most television shows don't even come close. Now, I will watch Better Call Saul. You wouldn't even need to, even if it didn't have the best reviews of any modern television program, you wouldn't have to convince me. I just got to find the time. For Game of Thrones, you got to go back to, or Game of Thrones spin-offs, I should say, you got to go back to square one. Because it's got all the makings of HBO being like, yo, we've invested a lot of money into this property. Like, we can't... I know, like, the story's over, but what if it wasn't? You know, everybody knows that General Custer died at the Battle of Little Bighorn, but what this book presupposes is, what if he didn't? Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It's 11 wins in a row. If you did, click on the like button. Like I said, it helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See you!